All right, AK, now you can talk.
Now I can talk. Finally, finally, the restraints have been taken off. I
To
am
pull
free
back the
to
curtains,
roll.
to pull back the curtains,
Yeah.
AK, he's not known for being timely up there in Canada. He started to speak to nobody
hmm
before we went live.
hmm
He was so eager for these weigh-ins, he started to do commentary with no one there.
I'm in a different time zone.
That's true. In a different country. That's the rumor, though.
This is the UFC 310 official weigh-ins live stream, courtesy of MMA Fighting, brought to you by the great Jose Young. So you can hear he is on site, of course. This is his camera, his eyes focused on the scale, ready for our fighters to step up. This is the voice of Alexander K. Lee. You guys know me. I'm the weigh-in guy. I'm always here for you. We will be here for, again, probably only an hour, I guess. Let's not forget, guys. This is 2024, the year of the revised weigh-in rules. So they would like all the fighters to do their first weigh-in attempt in the first hour. There've certainly been exceptions. There are people who've just been late and not able to weigh in the first hour. It's not a hard rule. It's not if you don't show up in the first hour, it's not considered a miss. But they have been trying to get fighters in quicker, and for the most part, it's worked out. I think all the events that have implemented this rule, they've had maybe one or two people again show up after the first hour. And again, you have the second hour to work with still. So if you're late or if you happen to miss in the first hour, you are guaranteed that second hour. There is no more, as far as we know, there is no more showing up at 15 minutes left in the weigh-ins and then us having to be like, oh, okay, they missed. Is the doctor going to clear them? Does this state allow that? Does this commission allow them to do a second weigh-in? Will the doctor clear it? That's a lot of that has been pushed aside. Of course, there's still approval from the commission. There's still approval from doctors, but it's much more streamlined now the way in. So I like it. I don't get to hang out with you guys as much as I did before, but I do like the new streamlined weigh-in process. So there we go. Jeff Mullen tapping away, ready to bang that weight home as only he can. I've seen some people this week worrying about one Asakura, a very large man who competed at bantamweight over at Ryzen. I think he has one flyweight fight from a long time ago,
Who's
but
this?
I'm not worried. Kai
Yeah, yeah.
Asakura. Yeah, I'm not worried. He is a large man, but also one. I again, they don't do a lot of extreme weight cutting in Japan. It's just not a thing. Same with one championship, right? Like it's just not a thing. Um, So I do think he's not as big as people think. Like I don't think he's walking around like 165 pounds or something. I think he's actually closer to 135 than people think. Again, he is tall. I understand. He is a very tall man. Um, wow, someone else tweet. All right. He is a very tall man. It won't be an easy cut. I don't think that Kai is like if he doesn't win on Saturday, I would not be surprised at all if he says, "Well, I'm done with flyweight, back up to 135 for me." But for this one fight for that he's obviously very very focused on, I don't think weigh-ins will be an issue. The second reason I'm not worried is again Jeff Mullins there. You guys saw him. He is the master of glancing at the scale. You're close enough. I'm banging this home. Let's get on. Let's get the next person up here. So I'm not accusing Jeff of any impropriety. I'm saying, listen, he knows more about
Never.
weighing in than I do. No. And if he says someone is on weight or close enough, who are we to argue? Let's not worry about a quarter of an ounce or whatever it may be. So yeah, Harvey Nathan, ready to slide the weight across suspiciously quick if needed. You're damn right. You're damn right. All right. He may not be the hero that people want, but he is the hero we need. So
Mm.
we are still. Oh well, we're a few seconds away. So guys, I'm gonna shut up soon. I'm gonna let the fighters step up. It looks like we got Shavkat ready to come in first.
About to start right now. Yeah, a little bit of audio technical difficulties out here, so we're trying to fix the microphones.
All right, thank
There
you
you
all
go.
for being here
Wow,
for
that
the
is loud.
official weigh-in for UFC 310 Pantoja versus Asakura, and we begin on the main card. In the welterweight co-main event, the number 3 ranked contender, the undefeated Shavkat Rakhmonov. $171, the official weight for Shavkat Rakhmonov. All right, next fighter to the scale is the gentleman around whom this fight card was built, the undisputed UFC flyweight champion of the world, the cannibal Alexandre Pantoja. 124.5, the official weight for the champion Alexandre Pantoja. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in a prelim in the welterweight division, live on ESPN 2.
Camera guys back there putting stuff on. You're bumping my main camera, so please don't touch your face. Thank you very much.
And now we welcome welterweight Themba Gorimbo. $171, the official weight for Themba Gorimbo. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in a lightweight prelim. Please welcome the Dream, Chase Hooper. $155.5, the official weight for Chase Hooper. All right, next fighter to the scale is his opponent in the lightweight division, the UFC legend, the Hall of Famer, the Carpenter, Clay Guida. $155, the official weight for Clay Guida. All right, next fighter to the scale, kicking off the pay-per-view main card in the featherweight division, Nate the Train Landwehr. $145.5, the official weight for Nate the Train. All right, next athlete to the stage, competing in a flyweight prelim. Please welcome Joshua Van. $126, the official weight for Joshua Van. All right, next man up, competing live on pay-per-view on the main card in the featherweight division, UFC Hall of Famer Choi. $146 for Choi. All right, next fighter up in the flyweight division, the number 14 ranked contender, custom-made Cody Durden. 126, the official weight for Cody Durden. All right, next fighter set to weigh in, one of the best featherweights in the world, the number 5 ranked contender, the undefeated Movsar Evloev. $145.5, the official weight for Movsar Evloev. Next up, also one of the best in the featherweight division, competing live on the pay-per-view main card, the number 13 ranked contender, Thug Nasty Bryce Mitchell. $146, the official weight for Thug Nasty Bryce Mitchell. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing at a catch weight of 195 pounds, the former undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world, the All-American, Chris Weidman. $194.5, the official weight for Chris Weidman. All right, next fighter to the stage, competing in the welterweight division in a prelim live on ESPN2, Rude Boy Randy Brown. $171, the official weight for Randy Brown. Also competing in the welterweight division, we welcome Max Payne Griffin. $170, the official weight for Max Griffin. All right, next fighter to the stage is the former UFC interim heavyweight champion and the number 2 ranked contender, competing on the pay-per-view main card, Ciryl Gane. $245.5, the official weight for Ciryl Gane.
Our first little break.
I was going to say, we got a little pause there. All right, guys, thank you for your patience. Thank you for tuning in. Anyone who's just jumped in. Yes, we have had several pivotal weigh-ins. We'll have a graphic up eventually. I'm not going to send one just yet. I have a feeling we'll have a Russia fighter soon. But very importantly, we had Alexandre Pantoja show up at the top of the card, 124.5. We are still waiting for Asakura. It probably is going to be a bit of a cut for him, so don't be surprised if he's one of the later guys to weigh in. And we had Shavkat, our co-main events, 5-rounder. Shavkat, Rakhmonov, Ian Machado, Garry, Mr. Rakhmonov at 171. I want people to remember that is a 5-rounder, but it's not an interim title fight. I think there was some buzz maybe before the fight was announced. I think people had like an inkling if it happened, it would be for an interim title fight. It is not. It is not. It is just essentially a number 1 contender bout. which is really what they should do in these situations anyway. Like, it'd be cool for Shavkat and Garry to be able to fight for an interim title and get whatever financial benefit you gain from having one of those belts. But we know by now that interim titles are not guarantees of anything. They're essentially number one contender fights, and that's exactly what this is. So
Oh,
I
you
don't.
were
I'm
right.
glad it's
Here we
5
go.
rounds. Doesn't need a title. Here we go. Yep. There you go, guys.
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing at a catch weight of 195 pounds. Please welcome your boy, Eryk Anders.
Yeah, boy.
$193. 193, the official weight for Eryk Anders.
We have Jeff Mullen back at the scale.
Yeah, Volkov is like right here, I think. I can't tell.
Okay, here comes Alexander Volkov. We had Ciryl Gane already
Wait,
weigh
no,
in,
it's
guys.
not
Came in
Volkov.
at
I just see-
245.
No, not Volkov. Other bearded blonde man with tattoos.
All right, next
Other
fighter to the
human
scale, competing
beings.
in a
Lucas
feud
Bresky.
live on ESPN Plus in the heavyweight division, Lucas Bresky.
There you go.
$234, the official weight for Lucas Bresky.
And Luque is right here as well.
All right, next fighter set to weigh in this morning, the number 14 ranked UFC welterweight contender, Vicente Luque. $170.5, the official weight for Vicente Luque.
Big chunk of fighters have weighed in, guys. As I just said earlier, Alexandre Pantoja, 124.5, still waiting for Asakura. Shavkat Rakhmonov, 171, still waiting for Ian Machado Garry. We've had several fights become official on paper. The main card opener, Nate Landwehr and Duho Choi, they both successfully weighed in. A welterweight bout, let's go to the prelims here. Luque, who you just saw, his opponent, Themba Gorimbo, also weighed in earlier, so they're both on. And that catchweight bout, Chris Weidman and Eryk Anders both came in around the 195-pound limit. Flyweights, Cody Durden and Joshua Van both weighed at 126, so that flyweight fight is on. And we had lightweights, Chase Hooper and Clay Guida also successfully make weight. So a lot of people, we are now waiting on Kai Asakura for the main event, Ian Machado Garry for the co-main, Alexander Volkov, Kron, Gracie, and those two for the main card. The featured prelim, Anthony Smith, Dominick, Reyes, have not seen either of these gentlemen yet. I would not be worried about them making weight. Aljamain Sterling, we're waiting for him. Movsar did show up already and successfully made weight, and we're also waiting on Bryan Battle, and Michael Chiesa, and Kennedy and Nzechukwu. But I do want to point out we did have Clay Guida successfully weigh in. What a frigging hero this guy is. This is UFC fight number 37 for Clay. I think it's his 30th lightweight fight. I could be wrong. He's only behind Jim Miller, who's way ahead with 42 lightweight appearances. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Yes. And he's fourth in total UFC appearances. Again, 36 behind only Donald Cerrone, 38. Anjar Arlovsky, 42. Jim Miller, 45. Big shout out to Mike Bond and Michael Carroll, who always keep these great stats, pre-event stats over on MMA Junkie. So shout out to those guys. That's where I get a lot of this information. Guida is 42. He will turn 43 on Sunday. He has his birthday on Sunday, and I think as it's been mentioned, Michael Chiesa is actually celebrating his birthday on Saturday on Fight Night. So I wanted to bring in some fun statistics. Jed brought this up with No Bets Barred as well. They'll probably bring it up in the preview show. I've passed these stats along to Jed, so he might read them on there as well. But in case you're not watching the preview show or he doesn't mention them, big credit to Steven from the Airing of Grievances podcast. So give the Airing of Grievances podcast on Instagram a follow. Steven sent me these stats. He listens to No Bets Barred. He wants to talk about birthdays. So here we go. I'm going to try and sum this up a bit.
Well, hold that.
Yeah, I'll get to this. Got to build the suspense. Got to build the
All right,
suspense.
next fighter to weigh in this morning, competing in the featherweight division, the number 9 ranked contender and former undisputed UFC bantamweight champion of the world, the Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling. $145.5, the official weight for Aljamain Sterling.
$145.5 for Aljamain Sterling. His opponent, Movsar Evloev, I believe, also weighed in 145.5. So that main card bout is of. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. That preliminary bout is official. Anyway, I was talking about birthdays before, guys. Michael Chiesa celebrating his 37th birthday on Saturday. Clay Guida celebrating his 43rd birthday on Sunday. Clay Guida made his pro debut, guys, in 2003. So he's been fighting professionally for 21 years. And it wouldn't surprise me if he's one of those guys, too, who actually started fighting before his first official, recorded fight. He's probably got some weird street fights or sanctioned street fights or smokers on there that we're not aware of. He's from that era, guys, where the record keeping is as good as it can be.
Former Strikeforce champion Clay Guida.
Former Strikeforce champion Clay Guida. I was doing a show.
Is he the inaugural one? Is he the inaugural lightweight Strikeforce champion?
It's more than I know, brother. It's more than I know. I was doing a show earlier this week with Derek Martin of, I want to get this right. Sorry, Derek, if you're out there. KMA. The station's called KMA. KMA Land. So it's a radio station. So shout out, thank you, Derek Martin, for having me on. But we were talking about this birthday thing, and we were saying this is the biggest gap. We didn't say this part, but this is the biggest gap in age in UFC history between Clay Guida and Chase Hooper. 17 years, biggest age gap between opponents. And I think we did the math, and Chase was 4 years old when Clay Guida made his professional debut. So Clay Guida is essentially, imagine Clay Guida fighting a baby. That is essentially,
right,
or I'm 4 years old, an infant.
Doing it now.
Yes, imagine that. And
done.
Envision it, and that's essentially what you're actually going to see happen on Saturday.
I wish you could see what I'm envisioning now.
It's probably not a good image, honestly, to put on screen. But,
I just feel like you see the Macho Man elbow from the top, but it's Clay Guida onto a
yeah. That's good. A bushy haired infant Chase Hooper.
Competing in the feature prelim live on ESPN2, the number 12 ranked UFC light heavyweight contender, former world title challenger, the Devastator, Dominick Reyes. $205, the official weight for Dominick Reyes.
That was 205 for Dominick Reyes. We are waiting for his opponent, Anthony Smith, still. All right, guys, I'll stop teasing this birthday stats. Let's see what we got here. Again, this is from Steven from the Airing of Grievances podcast. He's put together a database. He says, as far as he's recorded, 53 UFC bouts have been scheduled on a participating fighter's birthday. 18 were canceled before they happened. 18 of those fighters lost and 17 won. So birthday boys and girls actually have I will actually have a losing record on on fighting on their birthdays. I'll repeat that after.
Looks like Kennedy and Juku is here.
All right, Kennedy.
All right, next fighter.
Second straight fight at heavyweight.
The heavyweight division, Kennedy Nzechukwu. $236.5, the official weight for Kennedy Nzechukwu.
$236.5 for Kennedy Nzechukwu, and loving life as a heavyweight, stepping in on short notice here to save this fight. This was supposed to be Taliesin Teixeira, the aptly named Taliesin Teixeira, fighting Lucas Bresky, but Taliesin was forced to withdraw, and here comes Kennedy coming in on short notice. And he just recently had that fight with Chris Barnett, where Chris Barnett looked pretty clearly injured, and it ended very quickly and in not great fashion. So I guess Kennedy was eager to get back in there, and he gets himself a booking on the last pay-per-view of the year before 2025, and gets himself a nice fat paycheck, at least show money. And I think he's pretty heavily favored too. I believe he's the most favored fighter on the card, so it could be a very good Christmas for Kennedy and the Kennedy family. Who do we got here?
We have, I can't see. Looks like Kron, maybe? Yeah.
All right, next fighter to the stage, competing on the pay-per-view main card in the featherweight division, Kron Gracie. $144.5, the official weight for Kron Gracie.
That's Kron Gracie, just successfully made weight. His first fight since May 6, 2023. That's almost 600 days. And just his second fight since October 2019. I won't go over this whole discourse about why is this on the main card. You guys have talked about it. We've talked about it. Everyone's talked about it. It's a weird one. It's a weird one to have on there. But the Gracie name means a lot. It could be a weirdly fun fight. It's on the main card, guys. That's the world we're living in. So
now, here's something that a fan brought up for me when I was talking with him. Obviously, people are upset that Movsar and Aljamain are on the prelims and Kron's on the main card. If there's a fight that will convince you to buy a pay-per-view, is it a Movsar Aljamain fight, or could it be a Kron Gracie fight, considering what we saw against Charles Jourdain?
I would say neither.
You see what I'm saying, though? Do you get what I'm saying, though?
Yes. Well, I would say neither, and I would also say the Kron Gracie fight would intrigue people if they hadn't seen the Jourdain fight. Yes. In a scenario where if you've seen the Jourdain fight and you're like, wait, this is the guy from that fight, you would be like, okay, I'm not spending extra money to see this guy. So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's an odd one. All right, sorry guys. I got to crank out these birthday stats. So like I said, I was saying before, Michael Chiesa fighting on Saturday on his birthday, 37th birthday. 53 fights again. This is Steven from the Airing Group podcast. 53 fights. No, stop it.
I'm not kidding.
Is this the new rain dance? Is this
the new rain dance. Okay. When you try to have
every time I try to get
it doesn't work out.
Oh man. All right.
Or not. Never mind. Continue with your tales.
Alfredo Pineda is asking, is there a reported replacement fighter for the flyweight fight if Asakura misses weight? No, as far as I know, guys, there is no replacement. They would probably just bump up Rakhmonov and Garry to the main event. And frankly, that's probably been the more talked about fight anyway. They're just more well known to the broader UFC fan base. I mean, Kai is fantastic, but most UFC fans, if they only watch UFC, obviously don't know who Kai is. So I think UFC would have no problem saying, well, that fight's just off. We're bumping up Shavkat and Garry, and then we're bumping up again. Several of these fights from the prelims could be bumped to the main card. It's a pretty packed prelims. It's actually one more fight than usual. I think people used to like four early prelims, another 4 prelims. There's actually 5 early prelims and then 4 prelims. So again, they could put Movsar and Aljamain up there. They could do Reyes, Anthony Smith. They could do Weidman, Anders. Really, there's so many options for them to move to the main card. So I think they would just sadly they would just cancel the fight. I don't think there's a replacement. But I'm not worried about it. I am very optimistic that Kai can make the weight. Like, again, is he a guy that's going to want to make the flyweight limit every like 4 months? That I'm a little sketchy on. I do think it takes him some doing to make 125. But again, for this debut, for this one shot, I don't think it's going to be a huge problem. But no, he's not a guy who, like, if he wasn't fighting for the title, I think he would have chosen to debut at 135.
All right, next fighter to the stage, one half of the welterweight co-main event live on pay-per-view, the number 7 ranked contender, the undefeated Machado Garry. $171, the official weight for Machado Garry.
$171 for the beloved Machado Garry. I think maybe the most universally beloved fighter in all of MMA. I've never seen anyone say anything bad about Machado Garry or make fun of him or take personal attacks at him. Pretty much just like, yeah, he's like as beloved as Max Holloway, Mighty Mouse. He's really up there. I think people big fans of they always controversy free and humble Machado Garry. But yes, he has successfully made weight. Him and Shavkat both at 171, making use of that 1 pound allowance for, again, a 5-rounder that is not for an interim title, guys. This is just a 5-rounder, number 1 contender fight. So 171, right on the spot. Way to go, guys.
He made 170 championship weight?
No, 171, both guys.
Oh.
Shavkat and Machado Garry. Yeah, I know. You know what? Let me slack you, brother. Let me slack you, brother. All right. Hope I got that right.
You got it.
Right, chat? All right.
Bryan Battle's right here too, by the way.
Okay, I'm gonna withhold these birthday stats.
All right, next fighter.
I'm getting them out before the show's up.
Live on ESPN2 in a welterweight prelim, Bryan Battle. $175 for Bryan Battle.
Kai Asakura is right here too.
175 for Bryan Battle. Oh, that is rough. That is rough. We got Kai coming up. We will talk about Bryan Battle more in a moment. That is not great.
All right, next fighter to the scale, making his UFC debut and competing for the undisputed UFC Flyweight Championship, Kai Asakura. $124.5, the official weight for Kai Asakura, and with that, your UFC 310 championship main event is official.
Half a pound under. Take that, everyone. Same as the champ, who also came in 124.5. That main event is now official. Your co-main event is official. We'll have a graphic up for you soon, guys, because we're only waiting now on Alexander Volkov I said Kron Gracie, but no, we saw Kron, didn't we? Kron came in 144.5. We're only waiting on Alexander Volkov, Anthony Smith, Malkeza. That's it. Malkeza, the birthday boy, guys. Let me talk about this real fast. Fighters fighting on their birthday are 17 and 18, one below 500. Some fun facts here from Steven from the Airing Grievances podcast. Dean Thomas beat Fabiano Iha on Dean's 25th birthday. And then Dean beat Jeremy Stevens on Stevens' 21st birthday back in 2007. So Dean involved in 2 birthday bouts there. Jessica Andrade lost to Rocky Pennington on Rocky's 27th birthday, and then Andrade beat Calvillo on Andrade's own birthday in 2021. So Andrade also involved there. The oldest was Marion Renault losing on her 43rd birthday back in 2020. What else we got here? 32-year-olds win the most often on their birthday. This has happened 4 times, guys. 4 people celebrated their 32nd birthday with a win. Very strange. Lerone Murphy, Chris Dawkins, Hermes Franca, and Alexander Volkov, who is fighting on Saturday, who are still waiting to see weigh in. So just some weird little birthday facts there from Steven. We'll see what goes on with Chiesa. It'll now be the 54th UFC fight where someone fights on their birthday. Let's see if Chiesa can bring that mark up to 500, bring it up to 18 and 18 with 18 fights having been canceled. Wow, that's weird. It'd be 18, 18, 18. That's pretty cool. So there you go, guys. I'm sure you found those birthday stats as riveting as I did. One more time, that is from Steven of the Airing of Grievances podcast. Thank you, Steven, so much for that. I thought it was fascinating, but I'm a nerd. So there we go. We saw Kai Asakura weigh in. I know there was a lot of intrigue around that. 124.5, half a pound under the limit. Again, it's for this one big fight, guys. I'm sure he geared much of his training camp and training and everything around getting this weight cut perfectly right. How's he going to look on fight night? We'll see. Might have been a really tough cut. Could affect his performance. I don't know. Looked happy on the scale. Looked shredded. And we know he's got a big height advantage over Pantoja. So that's great to see. Hopefully we wake up Saturday morning, guys, and head into Saturday afternoon. We don't see any alerts from UFC news or anything like that about any changes to the main event. So, guys, I'm going to pause for a moment. I'm going to get this graphic ready, and Jose and I will have this for you.
I'm going to do my
screen
best.
momentarily. You'll do your best. That's all anyone can ask of you. I always tell you this. Because your best, your best is better than most.
Clips going out. Save for the people in the back that need to hear it.
All right. We'll be right back, guys. All right, guys. Yes, we saw Bryan battle 175. Joseph Boza wants to know, is that fight actually going to happen? Oof, that's a really good question. That's a huge miss. If I'm Randy Brown's side, I'm wondering if they at least ask Bryan Battle to weigh in again in the second hour and see if Bryan Battle can come closer to like maybe 174, maybe 173.5, because 4 pounds over.
There you go.
There you go. Look, how does he do it? How does he do it? Guys, you're probably on Instagram right now or our socials or Twitter or whatever, seeing like replays of Pantoja's weigh-in, seeing replays of Shavkat's weigh-in. That's Jose doing that. He's doing all that.
Who else can do that?
And he just put this graphic up on screen, guys. So you can see there. I'll give you guys a rundown in a moment, but we do want to talk about Bryan Battle. If I were to, I don't know, gun to my head, do I think the fight will happen? Yes. I think Randy Brown takes 30%. And when I say the fight will happen, I mean I think Randy Brown will agree to it. When someone misses weight by this much, I do have concerns about their health, to be honest with you. And this, I was just talking about, knock on wood, nothing happens to the main event. This wouldn't surprise me if you guys, keep your notifications on from MMA Fighting. Don't be surprised if we're reporting sometime Saturday afternoon that the Randy Bryan battle bout is off the card for some reason. I hope not. I do think Randy will agree to take it, but he's been around for a long time. I think he's got to take at least 30%. I think that's a
We
really
got the
bad
Guida
weakness.
brothers
It's
taking a photo.
look at Jason. Look at him. What a unit. What a unit.
That's one way to describe him.
Jason Guida, what a unit. Bryan battle. I was trying to remember if he had missed weight at 185. Oh, he'd missed weight at one. Did he miss weight? Yes. Okay, so this is Bryan battle's second weight miss at 170. He is a former 185er. He's a tall guy. I mean, you kind of look at him. He's a tall, lanky guy. I think it's one reason people are kind of intrigued with him as a welterweight is the physical gifts he has. But as we can see, that size cutting down from there, that comes with a price. So second time he's missed weight. He missed weight for a fight with Gabe Green in May 2023. He won that fight in 14 seconds. So I guess people don't remember the weight miss anymore. But it's a bad look. Again, former 185er, won the Ultimate Fighter as a middleweight, and then fought once after that as a middleweight in the UFC before cutting down to 170. I do think 170 is his weight class. He looks like a welterweight to me, but he's got to get that weight cut sorted out because this is 2 times now, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume it's health related, which sucks because this means the fight is definitely in jeopardy. But hey, guys, I'm wrong all the time. So hopefully I'm very, very wrong on this, and we get to see Bryan and Randy Brown step into the cage on Saturday and have a great fight. Let's do a rundown here, guys, before we get into get into a little main event talk, co-main event talk, all that jazz. You guys, well, if you guys ask Mike Heck, he just chimed in on our Slack. Not a report, by the way, just his opinion. He said, "Oh boy, this fight ain't happening." So my best friend, not as optimistic as I am. A bit of a sobering take.
Well, who is AK?
I think it's possible. I don't know. Piero's saying he should move up to 185. Again, guys, he's kind of a tweener. He looked like normal at 185.
Talking about
He
Bryan
didn't look
battle?
small at 185. Bryan battle, yeah, he looked normal.
Well, he also
at 185.
fought 70 days ago.
He did, right?
He's had a lot of fights in a short amount of time.
Is he's not replacing someone though, right?
No.
He's just stepping in quickly.
Yeah, quick turnaround.
But
at the same time, AK, as he said, he won the Ultimate Fighter. You got to make weight a lot of times in a short amount of time when you win the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
You know more that better than anyone.
Of course, and that's why he was.
It combines your two favorite. It combines your two favorite things: weighing in and the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah. And that was easier at 185, which is what he fought at. Also, before he was in the UFC, he competed primarily at middleweight, and now trying to make it as a welterweight and building a lot of buzz. He's on a very, very nice run at 170. This is going to hurt though, and Randy Brown's a really tough opponent. So if anything is off for Bryan battle, this is one of those weight misses where I don't look at it like, oh, he's going to have a size advantage. It looks to me like something went wrong, and I'm very concerned for how he'll perform if this fight goes through. There is a very good chance, even if Randy Brown says yes, that something goes on with the medical checks tomorrow, and I don't know. Hopefully Bryan battle's okay, and he just if he just missed weight for whatever reason, it's not some sort of illness, but yeah, very tough, guys. Alfredo says, wish welterweight was 175 and they had 165. Guys, I'm all for more weight divisions. I'm over this whole, oh no, it's going to make it more like boxing with too many weight classes. That may have worked once upon a time when the UFC roster wasn't 9,000 people. Not to mention, of course, it would have to be adopted by all the other promotions too, right? So we're talking about again, I don't know, well over 1,000 fighters competing across these major promotions, across the UFC and Bellator / PFL, and then you add in LFA and all these other notable regional promotions. There's a lot of fighters out there, and I think trying to squeeze them into the 12 traditional, well, for men, what is it, eight traditional weight classes? I think it's getting a little silly. The gaps between some of these weights are so huge. I know people will roll their eyes if they see oh, this guy's going to 165 title and then going for the 155 title, and the one's it's fine. Yeah, you'll get some title fatigue, but I feel like we have that already to some degree anyway. Let's have some more weight classes. Come on,
All right,
guys.
next
It's
fighter
not
set to
very
hit the
serious
scale
here.
this morning, competing in the UFC's welterweight division, the Ultimate Fighter Live winner, Michael Maverick Chiesa.
I can't believe he ever made lightweight.
170 and a half. 170 and a half, the official weight for Michael Chiesa.
$170.5 for Michael Chiesa, making his. Hold on, guys. I'm sending an updated graphic to Mr. Jose Youngs. Chiesa making his 20th UFC appearance. I know that doesn't sound like a lot for guys who've been in the UFC for a while. There's been some years where he missed, like he wasn't super active. So 20 UFC fights, his 9th at welterweight, as Jose said. Crazy to think that he fought 11 times at lightweight. The guy is just enormous. Coming off a win. Coming off that rear naked choke submission of Tony Ferguson. So he turns 37 on Sunday. We'll see how the birthday boy fares. You can't lose on your birthday. For those of you asking, what's the birthday boy parlay with Chiesa and Guida? I think I checked on FanDuel. I think if you go for it, Chiesa is pick'em. I think pick'em or slightly favored. Guida is a very big underdog to Chase Hooper, so I think if you parlay, it's like plus 600 or something. I don't know. I'm not great with odds, or plus 1,200. I think actually it's weird. It's a very weird number. So $5 would win you like $60. Don't do it, guys. Don't bet on MMA at all. I say, but I'm just saying if you are like a believer that the birthday power cannot be overcome, pick Chiesa and Guida to win, man. I guess it'll be fun. It's a fun wager, but please no more than like $5, guys. Don't go nuts with this sort of thing. All right, everyone. We are waiting now on just Alexander Volkov, a heavyweight, no big deal. Anthony Smith has missed weight one time. I think the circumstances around that were kind of a weird one. If anyone remembers,
It
please remind
was.
me. It's just not.
It was. He weighed in as the backup for Jamal and Glover in
Oh,
Brazil.
did he not? So he didn't actually miss weight for a fight that he ended up competing in.
No, not to my knowledge.
Not to my. Yeah, I'm trying to. I swear. Yeah, maybe it was just that, wasn't it? Yeah, Jose is correct. Right, it was as a backup. Okay, so I'm not overly concerned about either of the remaining fighters left to weigh in. I believe it is just the two I mentioned. Yes, Anthony Smith and Alexander Volkov. Volkov again, of course, a big boy, guys. He just taking his time, slept in, probably enjoyed a breakfast that no one else can besides Ciryl Gane. Beautiful. Beautiful. You got the weights there, guys. I'm not going to do a rain dance yet, guys. We're not in a big hurry, so feel free to look at that graphic at your leisure. Let me see some of the comments we got here. True Review Sports News. Hooper, Battle, Reyes, Kai, $15 for $136. I mean, True Review, we don't even know if that battle fight's going to happen now. So I would say just be real careful there. Yeah, everyone talking about Chiesa. Yeah, it is pretty crazy. Again, guys, him and Guida have just been around forever. Let's talk a little bit about the main event. I'll just tell you right now, guys, I'm liking a Kai Asakura upset. I don't know, and I say this as a huge Pantoja fan. I think I correctly picked Pantoja to beat Usyk. I guess most people did. I'm trying to remember his other recent fights. Oh, I did pick Brandon Royval in their rematch because I thought it was the year of the Raw Dog. I was just riding that. But Royval, not his best performance, and Pantoja kind of just won a forgettable decision there. Not Pantoja's fault, like I said. I think Royval. I wish he'd brought the fight a little bit more. Just wasn't the Raw Dog that we're used to. That sounded so bad. Geek Cruz, all glory to Botafogo. Yes, congratulations to the Botafogo Football Club winning their first Copa Libertadores, guys, the biggest club trophy you can win in South America. Unbelievable. After a heartbreaking campaign last year where they came so close to winning the league
Oh,
title.
here he is.
Oh, sorry, Guy, I got to stop talking about Botafogo, but hopefully they win this Sunday or at least draw and actually win the league title this year.
All right, next fighter of the way this morning competing on the pay-per-view main card, the number 3 ranked heavyweight contender, Alexandre Drago Volkov. $254.5, the official weight for Alexandre Volkov.
That was 254.5 for one Mr. Alexandre Volkov, I believe. Sorry, guys, I got distracted for a moment. 254.5 for Drago. That rematch with Ciryl Gane is now official. I'm curious to see where people lean on that one, but let's talk about the main event a little bit more, guys. First, let me send this little update to Jose, and I bet we can get Anthony Smith to come out here, but let's see. He's the one remaining fighter. People talking about the chat. Yes, an enormous underdog, which seems a little crazy. He is. Is he even older than Dominick Reyes? He's had way more fights than Dominick Reyes, that's for sure. Is he actually older?
Who?
Dominick Reyes is up there.
Anthony Smith?
Who's older, Anthony Smith or Dominick Reyes?
I would assume Anthony Smith is older.
I would too, but I think it's actually closer than people think, right? Anthony Smith is 36. Dominick Reyes is almost 35, so a little bit.
Wow.
So I think, so Anthony Smith's about a year and a half older, but Dominick is not like a young guy. But Anthony Smith has way more combat sports mileage. That is for sure, like just a ton more fights. So in MMA years, he's like a decade older. Let me send this to Mr. Jose.
Who were the last 3 people to weigh in?
Who were the last 3 people to weigh in?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I will tell you right now. Alexandre Volkov, Michael Chiesa, and Asakura.
Okay, good. So I'm all caught up on stuff.
Yeah. I think you are good. Let me.
Man of many hats here.
So many hats, and you wear them so well. You're dapper, I would say.
Some say I don't even take the hats off.
All right. So there we go, guys. Just waiting on Anthony Smith. Sorry, I saw a good question I want to answer in the chat. Where were you, Mr.? I believe it was. Where was it? Hammer Parsa. Hammer. If Randy Brown says no, we'll get his show money. Do fighters have that option when opponent misses weight? No, it's the UFC's choice, guys. Totally the UFC's choice. Ask Chris Weidman. Chris Weidman, literally, I think he just did an interview recently. I want to say he was talking to Ariel. I believe it was talking to Ariel Helwani. Maybe he was talking to us. Anyway, I should know this thing. Chris Weidman was doing some interview, and he did say he had weighed in. Remember, this fight with Eryk Anders was rescheduled from the last pay-per-view from 09, and Chris Weidman did weigh in successfully, and he said he was not given his show money. I hope I'm not misquoting Chris here. There you go, beautiful. Thank you, Jose. I don't think I'm misquoting Chris here. I'll check real quick. He didn't receive a yes. He says he didn't get paid his full purse. So I don't know if he was partially compensated. Yeah, he was talking to Ariel. Here's the quote. They're going to take care of me. This is Chris Weidman. They're going to take care of me. They're doing something for me. I'm not getting my full purse. I'll put that out there, which is tough. You show up, you do everything right, and you don't get it. They also said that they were trying to find another opponent for me. I guess that whole day. Anyway, so that's the relevant part. He also says my show money is my win money. I have guaranteed money, so that was my point. I showed up. You guys had that in the budget sheet to begin with. You guys made a great night. Why do you guys keep that money and I don't? That was my thought. Their thoughts were, listen, this happens on 40% of the cards, and if we pay people not to fight, kind of stops there. They just want to be consistent on what they do in those situations. So yes, that was for the Aerial show. Transcribed. Sorry, I was reading that off Junkie. Thanks, Farah Hanoun, for transcribing that. So yes, guys, Chris Weidman, a very well-known name with the company, a former UFC champion. He did not get his full show money, and I don't know what compensation he got. He seemed pretty vague about like that they're going to take care of him somewhat. But for me, it sounds like just because they knew they were going to rebook him so quickly, they're like, well, we're not going to pay you twice to show, which is ridiculous because he showed up and made weight at 309. He showed up and made weight again. Both times he should get his full show money. So I feel for Chris Weidman. I think that's ridiculous. So yes, regarding Randy Brown, if this fight doesn't happen, guys, your guess is as good as mine. Will he get his show money? He should. Is he guaranteed his show money? Hell no. He is not guaranteed anything. UFC does not have to pay its fighters if they don't fight. That is a. There have been. It's really case by case. You can see older interviews. Dana White has mentioned it before. There's fighters he said that he paid because they showed up. Other times it's just not addressed. It's a really frustrating situation. I feel really bad for fighters when it comes to that. They need more security. If you successfully weigh in and your opponent doesn't make it, you should get your show money because you showed. So, I don't know. UFC, I guess, interprets it as showed up in the cage to fight. But if that is out of your control, how is that fair? So, terrible to hear. These fighters have such a short, have potentially such short careers already. Cutting weight is not easy. Training for a fight is not easy. That preparation should be compensated. Not happy about it. Sorry, guys. I will be with you on and off here. I've just got to do some writing for MAfighting.com. So, Alfredo Pineda wants to know: it's a stretch. Do you think the UFC could add a men's strawweight division, assuming if flyweight gets stacked in the future, could help with UFC expansion to Asia and Latin America to an extent? Yeah, they have 115 pound fights in other promotions. It's not very common in North America. I want to say LFA has had fights before. I want to say some other notable like regional promotions have had 115 pound fights in North America. It really is more of an overseas thing. It's really hard for the UFC to do. I mean, the flyweights have always been a hard sell for them. Like it shouldn't be because the division is so good. But they've done what they can. They did do a great job marketing it. But all the casual people I know, not all, but a lot of casual fans I know, like my friends who are just like, oh, I have a friend who like watches a ton of MMA, and he says like, oh, I don't usually watch the flyweight fights. The guys are just too little. And I'm like, that's insane. That's like totally insane.
Featured prelim in the light heavyweight division, former world title challenger and the number 13 ranked contender, Anthony Lionheart Smith. $207.5, the official weight for Anthony Smith.
That was a bummer.
$207.5 for Anthony Smith, guys. That is one over the limit. We were just talking a lot about how he's never technically officially missed weight, only did as a backup once, and that was, I think, when he was pretty sure he wasn't going to be called upon to fight anyway. But this is a miss. This is an actual miss. Now, this is where it gets interesting. As we said, they have been encouraging people to show up at the first hour. This is the new weigh-in protocol, guys. They want people to weigh in the first hour. As you can see, we're 5 minutes to 1 p.m. Eastern time. And there is still a second hour. It's not that they got rid of the second hour. The second hour is meant for, again, should someone have missed the first hour, now they get another chance to weigh in again. Will this be the case with Anthony Smith? I don't know. 1.5 is not like, Bryan Battle, like I said, we saw him miss 4 pounds. Pretty much impossible he's going to lose that weight. If he weighs in again, it'll strictly be to make sure the fight happens. I don't think we're going to see him weighing again anyway. Anthony Smith, though, 1.5 pounds feels doable. That's easy for me to say sitting at home on my butt, not trying to drain my body and dehydrate myself. That 1.5 pounds could be an impossible hill to climb. I don't know. I don't know how much Smith has cut already. But we're going to keep you posted, guys. We are not going to tune out yet. Jose, is that okay? Can we stick around for a little bit
Yeah.
and see if we get an update if Anthony Smith will try to weigh in again in the second hour. Again, they do have that second hour is official. Like that is still part of the weigh-in window technically. It's just if everyone weighs in the first time, everyone they pack up the scale and we worry about it another day. They have not packed up the scale yet. I do see it there. That does not mean that anyone's going to weigh in again. We don't know that. I'm not saying that's a guarantee. But we will find out soon, probably sooner rather than later. We've got our boots on the ground, Jose. He'll give you an update, guys. But I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to send Jose an updated graphic. You guys can see who has made, who has missed. I'll make a note there. And then we'll have you properly updated as soon as we can on the status of Anthony Smith and hopefully Bryan Battle as well. We'll figure it out. I'm actually going to check real quick if Bryan Battle's weight has been logged on UFC.com. Oh, both of them have, interestingly enough. Where did that go? So on UFC.com, they have noted Smith weighed in above the light heavyweight limit and that Battle weighed in above the welterweight limit. In my experience, I've found they only do that when they know that there's not going to be another weigh-in, but that is just my interpretation. We have not heard any official word on whether Battle will try to weigh in again, doubtful, or if Anthony Smith will try to weigh in again, possible. Be right back, guys.
Aliás, é uma promessa pro Ô, Johnny, tem que ser a branca mesmo? Não conseguiu, né, no Instagram dela. Se tiver alguma outra no Instagram aberto, você vai ver. O Mel que prometeu.
There you go, everyone. That is your official weights. I'm sticking around to see if anyone else weighs in, though.
Deixar maior a parte do Instagram. Já fez o. Não. Dá pra tirar a balança na frente. Só na missão. Chama, garoto. É isso aqui, pessoal. Esse é o comentário. No Garry, ou que a gente vai fazer essa vez. Esse lá, ó, uma coisa. chama, a galera tá comentando. É isso aí, gostei, velho. Boa. Bora vir, bora vir, bora vir. Causamos no Instagram do vídeo.
Who the fuck is this short lady? Still no updates, everyone.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to hang in there for a bit, guys. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to hang in. Again, because I do think Anthony Smith is going to try to weigh in again. That's my guess, but that is going to require clearance from the commission and clearance from a doctor. We'll keep our eyes open too for a Bryan battle update. Again, I don't think he'll weigh in again, but we'll see what the purse percentage that he is penalized if his fight with Randy Brown is agreed upon. So both really two fights to keep an eye on because it's a very sketchy situation so far.
Se essa luta acontecer e o Melo não me avisar que eu vou ficar a primeira mão, vou ficar muito puto. O pessoal quer fazer uma campanha da Johnny também. Johnny, está nessa. Você tem alguma outra ou tem que ser a Verônica? Que história é essa de não ter um tipo no estádio que não sei? Mas para lutador isso não é pessoal. Quanto mais como cara, ou talvez alguma outra coisa. Tinha aquela. Tem um lutador, a mulher, que muito. A Tabata falou disso. Não sei o que trabalha. Os louros, umas coisas bem. Faz assim, liga. Abre os. Eu não lembro que não explicava, mas ele virava essa porra. Eles eram fofinhos, igual. Vai me tirar print pra ele. Eu falava que eu esqueci. Eu ia responder sim, apesar de falar. Obrigado, pessoal. 48 likes, 43 comentários, só no. Deu uma live com todos os caras. causar essa. Sabe por que eu vou falar? Vamos no Instagram de alguém. Ó, não tá causando. Um cara de fraco. Tá me explanando, não faz isso. Só. Tá. Só não mata o meu.
What is up, guys? We are back. Thank you for sticking around. I know it's a bit of a weird situation because we think we are waiting for news on whether Anthony Smith will weigh in again, but we don't know for sure. Again, the fact that the scale is still on the stage does tell you that they are not quite done yet. Normally, after the first hour, let's say everyone successfully weighed in, obviously they would just pack up the scale and get ready for all the other crazy stuff they have to do during a pay-per-view week. There will be ceremonial weigh-ins tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So keep your eyes open for that, guys. If you missed the official weigh-ins or you don't care for the official weigh-ins and you just want to see the pomp and circumstance of the ceremonials, we will have those, of course, on MMAfighting.com. You can find the link there. 7 p.m. Eastern time, guys. Jose will be on site, as he always is. And we'll be getting you some great face-off footage and all that stuff. So. I wanted to talk about the main event. We kind of were getting to it, I think, before Anthony Smith showed up. Pantoja and Kai Asakura. Again, I'm giving my pick. I'm not in the preview show. I'm going with Kai for the upset, guys. Don't use my words for gambling advice, please. I always say this. I know I do the predictions for MMA.com. I know I'm a talking head. MMA.com. MMA.com. What a great URL that would be. MMAfighting.com. You can find my predictions on there every Saturday morning before every UFC card. Really, I think I've missed maybe one in the last couple of years, probably because I was on vacation or something like that. But then I think someone filled in. Anyway, you can find the predictions at MMAfighting.com. My predictions are, I don't know. I think they're more of a fun read. I always cannot stress enough, don't use them for gambling purposes. I'm a talking head for this website. Don't use my advice here for gambling purposes. MMA is supposed to be fun. If you get enjoyment from splashing a few bucks on the fights, go for it. Have some fun. $5 here, a couple of bucks there. If you're one of those high rollers who's betting hundreds, thousands of dollars on cards, don't listen to me. Maybe listen to Jed. He does that great No Bets Barred podcast every week. That is your man. It was a fantastic episode. You still have time, guys. If you have not listened to No Bets Barred this week and you are hoping to put a few simoleons down on some of these fights, definitely check out his show, guys. It's again on MMAfighting.com. It's on our podcast network. Anywhere you enjoy podcasts, find No Bets Barred. Really, really great episode this week. But yes, I'm just picking Kai for the upset. I think it's a fun thing to do. I just think it'd be a very fun, chaotic way to end the pay-per-view calendar year for the UFC. I know we have another card next week, but I can't imagine any results causing as much chaos as Kai just flooring Alexandre Pantoja. It's a bit of a weird pick for me because I think I've been as skeptical as anyone as far as how good are some of these rising guys when they have to come over to the UFC? Not that it's not a strong promotion. It's just a very different environment. And again, I think it's a bit tougher for any fighter that has to come from so far away and compete in the United States. So for Pantoja, normally you would think, I'm Pantoja all the way. Especially since I love Pantoja, one of my top 5 pound for pound fighters in the world right now. And I don't know what I'm going to do with the pound for pound list if Kai pulls off this upset. It's going to just be extremely bizarre. You can't make Kai a top 10 pound for pound fighter, right? Off of one win like that, though he has some good ones too. I don't know. He has wins over guys that later beat him. He beat Kyoji he beat Kyoji the first time they fought. He beat Manel Kopp the first time they fought. He's got some really good wins on there. It's just that those guys then later got their wins back. So it's hard to gauge him. He's clearly an extremely talented guy. Otherwise, the UFC would not be giving him this opportunity. So my one concern with Pantoja is defensively, he's not amazing. Like, he has a really good chin. He has a lot of ways to take the fight where he wants to go. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking, worst comes to worst, he's going to go to the grappling, see if he can outwork Asakura there. And that is definitely has to be a concern for Kai Asakura and his team. But on the feet, Kai is so explosive, and the size advantage, I think, matters a lot. So I'm going to go for fun here. I'm going with the upset pick, Kai Asakura. I don't feel that confident about it. I know a lot of people are high on Kai and just, are very eager to say, well, he's going to show like all these UFC fans what they've been missing. Maybe so. I think he's going to have a great UFC career no matter what. It just might not start off with a win. And going forward, it might be at 135 pounds, not at 125. But I'm really intrigued by this main event. I'm glad they got the spot. Love the flyweight division. Pantoja is a fantastic champion. If he wins, I'll be really, really happy for that as well. If Kai wins, what a great surprise that would be. So interesting stuff there for sure. Let me see here. What are you guys saying? A lot of people being hard on Anthony Smith for missing weight. Sure. Hey, you got it. He's in defense of Anthony Smith. He's on a lot of shows. He does a lot of interviews, so he has to talk a lot. And yeah, he's probably been critical of people missing weight. So for him to miss is a terrible look. But I don't know. When you're a guy like that who has the microphone
And he's
in front of his face,
he's had a bit of a personal tragedy in his life. His coach died.
That's right. His coach. Yes, that's right. We heard about that. If you guys watched Media Day, he mentioned he did have a coach pass recently, and I don't know how you guys feel about that. It's like, there should be no excuses or whatever. But for me, it has to be factored in. Thank you, Jose, for mentioning that. I actually totally forgot about that. That's right. He did bring that up during Media Day. So yeah, it's not a great time. Maybe he shouldn't have taken the fight. I don't know. But did it affect his weight cut? I think you can probably, or his focus for this camp. Yeah, I think you probably draw some sort of connection. But I don't want to speak for Anthony. Maybe he wouldn't want to make an excuse. When he was asked about the coach thing at Media Day, he didn't even. The question he was asked was, are you fighting for him? Are you fighting for him? For his memory. And Anthony was pretty dismissive of that subject because he was just saying like, no, like that's not how I want to honor him. Like this guy was not just a coach, obviously a close friend, someone he loved very much. So I believe his words were, him being a coach to me was like the least of my relationship with him. Like this,
Right.
this person meant a lot to him personally. So, so yeah, I think he's probably. I don't know if he's the one that would want to make that connection, but I think for us observing from the outside, how could losing someone close to you like that not affect you? But hey, you know what? Whatever, guys. I know you're probably thinking he should have made weight. Fine, but yeah, it is an unfortunate storyline heading into this card now. If this fight goes through, that we'll have to be talking about Anthony Smith missing weight. Really, again, technically missing weight for the first time in his UFC career for a fight that he's actually like scheduled for. So. I'm just trying to see, guys. A lot of Anthony Smith comments. I want to talk about the co-main event a little bit here. This one I'm not being creative with, guys. I'm Shavkat all the way, and I think Ian Machado Garry is really good. I think Ian Machado Garry is so much better than people want to give him credit for sometimes. Like I know he takes a lot of crap for his trash. Listen, he talks a lot of trash, so he's got to take it too. I understand. His fights aren't. Some of his recent performances have not been like highlight reel performances. I get that too. He stepped up in competition really quickly, and yeah, he's winning decisions. He's winning competitive decisions. He's not getting knockouts, fine, but he's beating ranked guys. He's doing the right thing. He climbed up the ladder, and now he's jumping in on a crazy opportunity to fight Shavkat with Blal, of course, not being able to make it. So big step up for him. I don't think Ian Machado Garry's stock falls at all if like Shavkat just clears him. I'm sure there'll be many people pointing and laughing, but hey, he's not supposed to be in this fight in the first place. I think I never say no lose. I think if you're a fighter, obviously anytime you lose, especially if you get knocked out or submitted, yeah, it's going to hurt your stock a little bit. That's just how this game works. But overall, I don't see why Ian Machado Garry, again, cannot be a ranked guy for years to come, even if it doesn't go his way on Saturday. As for Shavkat, the guy is just an absolute monster. He's a Terminator. People are saying if this fight stays on the feet, like it's all, it favors Garry. I don't even know if that's true. Like I think that's certainly Gary's best path to victory. But Shavkat's got great striking. I mean, that's why we see him as arguably the best welterweight already. I mean, if you go to MMA Fighting, our rankings, we show the voting breakdown. Two of our panelists have Shavkat number one. And this isn't the contender breakdown. This includes the champion. This is like who is just straight up, forget belts, who is the best fighter in a division. Four of us, of course, went with Bilal. The other two are saying Shavkat already. I haven't cast my my fellow panelists yet. I do wonder if Shavkat like just smokes Garry in 2 minutes. Is that going to change anyone's mind and have them push Shavkat to number one? Those who don't already have him there. I don't think it will for me. I will say I have a lot of respect for Belal as the champion. Like, I don't think he's just number one because he holds the title. I think he's number one because of the competition he's faced and the run he's on. He was supposed to fight on Saturday. It's not his fault that he missed out. He's got an bone infection in his foot. I won't drop him. I think no matter... I think if Shavkat does a Jorge Masvidal flying knee knockout of Ian Machado Garry, I still don't think that I'll just bump him to number one. I need to see him fight Belal. If Belal by some chance is out for an extended period of time, and Shavkat again either has to fight another contender, like I don't know, fights like Jack Della Maddalena or something, and then destroys him, let's revisit this in 6 months. Then I might be saying, well, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta bump Shavkat to number one. But I think Belal has earned the right to hold on to that number one spot and not lose it without fighting just yet. Let me see what you guys think. How high are you on Shavkat, guys? Is Shavkat is he number? Let me ask you guys: is he number one already? Is he number one already? And will he be number one if he just runs through Ian Machado Garry? And we'll talk about Ian's rankings in a moment as well, because hey, like I said, he could win the fight. And by the way, for everyone saying somebody zero has got to go, no contests and draws exist. I see this everywhere. I've probably written it in articles. Preview, like guys talking trash about the fight. Shavkat and Ian, hyping up the fight, talking trash about each other. But technically, someone's doesn't have to go. There could be a draw. It could be a no contest. This is MMA, guys. We've seen crazy things happen. But yes, I understand the spirit of the thing. Thank you. Yeah, Jermaine. There you go. Jermaine saying it. It'd be funny if the fight ends in a draw. Yeah, it's just like, oh, good. UFC wouldn't care. They're both undefeated, and I would like to think. Oh man, I was gonna say Shavkat should still get the title shot since he was booked for it, but if this was like WWE or AEW, it'd be a draw, and then Belal would have to fight both guys in a triple threat. But that might be the best way to drum up interest in Belal's next fight, if we're being honest. Probably not going to happen. No, my guess would be I think the really cool thing to do if there was a draw. Shavkat gets the first shot because he was supposed to fight at 310. And then you tell Garry he doesn't have to fight again. You tell Garry you chill. And then Garry gets the winner of that fight. That's the way I would like to do it. I don't think UFC would ever plan that far ahead. That would be like saying, that would essentially be saying for the next 9-10 months or the first 9-10 months of 2025, like, oh, this is what the welterweight title picture is going to look like. Everyone else just has to wait. And I don't think like that. I think they always want to keep the option open of maybe someone comes up, Michael Morales suddenly like gets 2 knockouts in the first half of 2025. He's undefeated. We want to throw him into a title shot. So they would never handcuff themselves like that. Like, I acknowledge that, but it would be cool. I do think if there was a draw, Shavkat should still get his title shot. I just don't know if that's going to happen. Michael Harris, any updates on MMA Fighting's Fantasy League? Is Al-Shadi still leading? No. Our beloved Shaheen, now of course at Uncrowned. Yes, he's still a part of our fantasy league. It's only a 4-man fantasy league, guys. We were just trying it out this year. I won with honor. I won by picking fighters who were in championship fights. Shaheen, God bless him, his strategy was to kind of try to find mismatches on the undercard, because in our league, if you get a finish, it's worth extra points. If you get a fight of the night bonus, it's worth extra points. And there were moments, like he had a couple of like weird wins there where like guys who were like the 3rd or 4th fight in the card were getting first round finishes, getting him many, many, many fantasy points. And fortunately, that underhanded tactic did not work out for him in the end. He also, I think, had some fighters lose that he didn't expect to see lose. So I won. There are still some fights to play out on Saturday, but essentially this is just a victory lap for me. I won the fantasy league because I'm a genius. I'll stop the fantasy talk there, guys, because I'll tell you right now, there's nothing I hate more than listening to other people talk about their fantasy sports teams, football, basketball. I just do not care. If people bring it up, I try as hard as I can to veer the conversation away from there. So that's all I'll say about that. Thomas Kent, he would wreck the whole division. Best welterweight in MMA right now. Oh, talking about Shamil Musayev. Yes, PFL's 2024 tournament champion. Was brilliant. She was brilliant on last Friday. Excuse me. That was also a battle of undefeateds. If I remember correctly, guys, right? It was Shamil and Umalatov. Yes, both men were undefeated. And then Musayev looked absolutely fantastic. You will see him further up, I'd say. I believe he's actually he might already be number 15 in our rankings. If he's not, he's gonna be top 15 next time. I'll tell you. I'll tell you guys right now. We probably are not doing a full divisional rankings next week. We'll probably wait till after Tampa. Give you guys kind of like a year end. Well, this is where the rankings sit heading into 2025. Sorry to Ryzen. I know they've got an event coming up end of the year as they always do. But yeah, I think we'll do the rankings after Tampa. A big update. But you look forward to a shakeup, guys. If him, Machado, Garry beats Shavkat, we're gonna have a shakeup post for that for sure. If Asakura upsets Alexandre Pantoja, who I think is our number 4 pound for pound fighter in the world, yeah, you might see a change there, guys. You might see a big shakeout pound for pound. So interesting to see. Yeah, so depending on the results, we'll see where guys move up. If Shavkat somehow moves up to the number 1 spot or even moves into a tie for the number 1 spot, you'll probably see a post about that as well. But yeah, very, very intriguing card on Saturday. Great card from top to bottom. And yes, Shamil Musayev right now is currently number 15 in our rankings. That was before he won the PFL tournament crown. Muhammad Bruce Lee. Musayev may actually be able to without USADA. Depends how much drug-free sport or testing and for what. I don't know what you're implying about one Mr. Musayev. The man is in fantastic shape. I can't imagine what you are suggesting with these comments, guys. Just to give a quick update again, we do not know the status of Anthony Smith and Bryan Battle. Bryan Battle, not expecting him to weigh in again. And Anthony Smith might not either. I will tell you guys again, these weights have been logged UFC.com on their weigh-in results post. They have that Smith and Battle's weights logged in. Sometimes, at least they have in the past, when someone misses, you won't see the weight registered right away. Because they assume the person will go for a second weigh-in. And then not until the second weigh-in will the weight actually show up on UFC.com. All the weigh-ins are in on UFC.com. Make of that what you will. I don't know if that means Anthony Smith isn't weighing in again. I'm pretty confident Bryan Battle's not weighing in. David R., what are your predictions for Aljo Evloev? Blows my mind that fight isn't on the main card. Evloev all the way. I'm a big Aljo fan. I think he was great. Loved him as champion. One of the most bizarre championship reigns you'll ever see. Some of it out of his control. Looked good against Calvin Kattar. I don't want to say a favorable matchup because Calvin, I actually think on paper that was tough, but Aljo's wrestling was just on point. It was just on point, and he fought the fight he had to win. Not an amazingly thrilling fight, but Calvin Kattar is tough guy to beat, and Aljo won a convincing decision just using that high level grappling. But I'm picking Evloev because I just think Evloev is so damn good. I was just thinking the other day, do you guys remember him and Topuria were supposed to fight? I think it's a shame that didn't happen. Maybe it worked out better for Ilya because I don't think Ilya walks through Movsar. People seem to have forgotten that they were neck and neck in the sort of contender rankings, both sort of hovering around probably outside the top 5 before Ilya made a jump up. I don't know if Movsar was above him, but they were certainly closer together. Of course, Ilya is now the champion with 2 incredible title fight performances under his belt. Movsar is fighting on the friggin' prelims. But I don't think the gap between them is as big as people think. As amazing as Ilya is, I would still, when that fight is made, which it will, because I'm picking Movsar to win, and then I'm picking him to get a shot at Ilya at some point in 2025. Ilya will be favored, obviously. I think Ilya will open at least as a 2-1 favorite. Minus 200, somewhere higher, maybe a little higher than that. I don't know how much of an underdog Movsar will be. If Evloev is 2-1 underdog, if it's sort of balanced, he's 2-1 underdog or higher, I'd be very tempted to pick Evloev. I'd be very tempted to just scrape a loonie out from under the couch cushions and throw that one on Movsar because I really think he is so damn good, and I don't think Dana White. He doesn't get finishes, fine. I don't think Dana White and the UFC realize what they have with this guy. I think he's again, if not number 1, he's clearly the number 2 best featherweight in the world. But we'll find out. Maybe Aljo pulls off the upset. Let's see the odds. Let's see the odds for that one. Let's see the odds for this one, guys. On going by FanDuel, let's see what we got with FanDuel. FanDuel has Movsar Evloev at -245, considerable favorite. Aljo plus 194, so just slightly under a 2-1 underdog for Aljo, but almost -250 for Movsar. Yeah, that sounds about right, guys. Movsar is undefeated, and he's looked really, really good in the UFC. So that line is it is what it is. We are almost at 1:30, so we're almost halfway through the second hour of the official weigh-in window. We still do not have any updates, guys.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, here's Jose. What do you got? Tell the people what's going on with NC Smith. What's going on with
that's literally what I was trying to figure out. Apparently they might know, because I was talking with the audio tech guy, Sam, for everyone out there who wants to know names behind the camera. Because I asked him, like, why is the scale still up there? Like, what's the situation? He goes, I believe they might make an announcement when they get information.
But that means there is still information to come. Like that
Yes.
either is a possibility.
Either he will weigh in again, or they will announce some sort of information. Because I see UFC PR specialist Chris Costello over on the corner seems to be waiting, checking his phone a lot. He's not 9 times out of 10. Actually, no, 10 times out of 10. When I get information about the weights and everything, it's always from him.
Yeah.
So, and he's
shout out
over
Chris
there.
Costello.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out. He's always sitting there waiting.
Doing a lot of great work for the UFC. It has been for a very, very, very long time. Thanks, Chris. Someone asking why is Anders Weidman a middleweight bout? There's a couple of reasons. I mean, one, we don't know what happened. We actually Anders' medical issue was the reason for the postponement from 309. Food poisoning. I've heard some people say, though, and this is just purely speculation, that it was that plus, like, they wondered was he having issues with the weight cut? Or obviously they're related. I imagine he was having issues with the weight cut because of the food poisoning. So that's one.
Weight.
Yeah, so that's one thing. Did Anders show up and make weight?
Yeah, they canceled the fight the day of the fight.
Oh, you are right.
We were backstage, we were backstage at UFC 309, and they came up and told us.
He did register weight. I'm looking at Topology right now. 185.6. He did make weight. Okay, my mistake.
If you watch his, he put an Instagram video out saying that after weigh-ins, he he was.
What is going on, Jose?
Our good friend Diego from AG Fight is just very excited about something. I'm live too, and everyone on our thread could hear you talking.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. Yeah. No, you're okay.
Big shout out to Ag Fight, by the way, because
they're great.
Anyone who follows MMA fighting knows we love to use Ag Fight's feed for weigh-ins for like Apex cards, and when we're not sending poor Jose off to every corner of the world. So follow Ag Fight, Instagram, YouTube, agfight. Oh gosh, BR. Oh, I'm sorry guys, let me agfight.com. So anyway, guys, there's your great source.
What was I saying? So Eryk Anders put out a video after it was announced. He said after weigh-ins he ate something, just got food poisoning, and he was just throwing up all night, and it was like his body just wasn't recovering. So they just said he couldn't fight. He said he tried his best, but he couldn't.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, it's only been a month since 309. I think it's just easier for both guys to only make 195 because both of them are a bit older, right? So like making 185 is not easy, and again, doing it and then successfully doing it and then doing a month turnaround and doing it again. Whoever it's for, whether it's Chris or whether it's for Eryk Anders or for both guys, it's probably better this way. 195. It's not gonna matter that much because I don't know if either man is getting close to a title shot anytime soon. So why do we care whether they hit 185 or not? This is my whole thing about needing more weight classes. Just don't make these guys cut weight for no reason. It's a meaningful fight for them personally. I don't care if it has rankings implications, title fight implications. Just does not matter to me at all. I just want to see these guys get in there and take care of business. So. Again, guys, so you have the weigh-ins on the screen, so you guys can read those yourself. I never did a real rain dance, and I'll do one soon. Maybe we can draw out this information. But I will tell you, if you missed Pantoja, if you missed Asakura, if you missed Rakhmonov, you missed Machado, Garry, you missed some of the big notable weigh-ins from this card, please check our socials. Check our TikTok and Instagram, Facebook. Please check out Facebook. Check out our YouTube Shorts, Twitter, of course. Because Jose Youngs has been uploading all of these weigh-ins across all of our platforms. So
And
there'll be a whole highlight package.
and Threads and Blue Sky. We're on everything.
Threads. Blue Sky? I'm not even on Blue Sky. It's too woke for me. Let me I'm not gonna do a rundown yet, guys. Let's wait. I'm gonna wait like five, maybe 10. When it gets to 140, which hopefully it won't have to do that. I won't have to take that. Hopefully we get an update on Smith and Battle before then. When it gets to 140, I will do the rain dance, and hopefully by the 5 seconds after I start, show up. Jonah Friedman is Jose going to Usyk versus Fury? I think Jose had to run off. I don't want to speak for him, Jonah. I believe Jose will be.
I'm back.
There.
My microphone.
Yeah, Jose, you.
My microphone died, so like mid sentence. So anyway, what were you saying?
Jose, are you going? Yeah, are you going to Usyk Fury 2? Quato Usyk versus Tyson Fury?
I am not. This will be my last.
Oh, okay.
I believe this will be my last event I will be at for the year.
What?
Yes.
Tampa? You're not? What?
No,
They're not gonna have you in Tampa?
I believe our good friend Mike Heck is going because he can drive down.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I forgot about our southern representation and one Mr. Mike Heck. Yes, that's right. Mike Heck will be. We will have boots on the ground. That's right. That's right. I knew that. I made the schedule literally just like yesterday, and I knew I had to.
You know what though?
Compensate for my best friend traveling.
It's been a long year. I'm excited to spend like.
Yeah.
It'll feel good to like just chill out at home.
It's not over yet.
That's true.
We got a lot of year left. Jose, you loved did you love the Usyk Fury 2 promo?
I thought it was one of the best things I've ever seen in my life.
These things are crazy. I still like my favorite one was the one they just did for God, I don't remember what the card was. Did you see the one where like all the fighters that were involved are like they're like dead at the beginning?
Yeah.
And then they come back to life, and that was wild.
That was a lot of fun.
That was holy crap! Like how did they come up with this stuff? Yeah, the promos have been unbelievable. The one that was like the Guy Ritchie one, the Snatch one was super sick. They're just fantastic. And yeah, this one was so out there and crazy. I almost was like, are we doing too much? Are we doing too much? It's a boxing match. What are we doing?
it's the boxing.
Do we need to come? Oh my god! Like it's two guys trying to fist fight each other. It's not. I hope it's not this insane psychological battle. But yeah, really amazing production, and good on the fighters for like going for it. Like as I watch these promos, I'm always thinking like.
Well,
obviously, I think these guys are getting paid.
Here's the thing, though. If someone gives me $70 million, I'll film whatever promo.
Well, yeah. Well, I would imagine they're being paid extra for the promos as well. I would think they're getting paid for their time. These are essentially acting gigs. Like these are not uninvolved. Like just stand in front of a thing and just pose and take pictures. Like these guys are acting and doing like. So yes, they are getting paid money, which is great. But yeah, amazing stuff, guys. I see people saying like, imagine that the UFC did this, and it would be cool. I just don't.
They did it once.
I don't know. What was the last time? Which one were we talking about?
The really good one. The Aldo McGregor one, where they're walking down the street and Frank Ocean was playing.
Oh,
They were walking down the Vegas Boulevard, and Aldo had all the Brazilians behind him, and McGregor had all the Irish behind him. Then they met at the intersection in front of MGM Grand, and the Frank Ocean was playing. That's an electric promo. I'll watch that now and then.
They've done like they've done like simpler promos too. I remember when they first went to MSG. I thought that was cool. They had like obviously Connor, Eddie, Carolina, Joanna were in there. That was cool. Like it wasn't like obviously anything fancy or like, but it was like really nice production values.
The Johnny Hendricks GSP one for UFC 160.
I don't remember it. Refresh my memory, sir, please.
The Roots were playing, and they were like in this dimly lit room. Well, not the Roots weren't in it, but it was like a Roots song playing, and they were like shadow boxing and punching and like lights. They were like, when you're in like the old time detectives room and there's like that light swinging above you, Like when they would throw a punch, the light would spark. And Johnny Hendricks got burned during the making of that commercial on his back.
Oh, damn.
But it's
Johnny Hendricks.
it was the song "Sleep" by The Roots on their album Undone, which I think is a very underrated and overlooked hip hop album. And a very good song.
There you go, guys. There's your recommendation. There's your deep cut for the day. Go back and listen to Undone by The Roots. 5 minutes guys. 5 minutes. I will do a rain dance rundown, and I will summon the UFC team to give us an update. But yeah, for you guys just weighing in,
there's a precedent.
Just weighing in,
311
popping in.
Yeah, and then 310.
Guys, no issues with the top two fights. Pantoja and Asakura, both 124.5. Pantoja's flyweight title on the line, his third defense of the flyweight title. Kai Asakura, a two-time Ryzen champion at 135 pounds. We will see if he can make history, become the first fighter to date. Well, no, I'm sorry. You know what, guys? Mike Bond wrote a great article for MMA Junkie, sort of breaking down the history of people making their debuts and fighting for titles. And obviously pre-modern era, when like we were talking like UFC 1 to 20 or whatever, you had weird circumstances where, of course, you would just get, guys from other promotions and throw them in and fight for titles because there was no real hierarchy yet. They weren't holding, a dozen of, I say a dozen events a year. That was a lot once upon a time. Now we're talking about 40 events a year. So yeah, people used to jump in and title fights all the time. But really, as far as like, as we understand it, the modern UFC, how often this happened. I mean, you had, of course, Joe Soto, completely last minute opponent for TJ Dillashaw. He was on the card, was not supposed to be fighting for the title. So that's one example, but very different from this Kai Asakura where like billed and signed and hyped. I can't remember the other examples, but it's like a handful of actual moments where someone debuted. Not Gilbert Melendez, right? He fought once before fighting he fought Diego, right?
Say it again?
Gilbert Melendez. He did debut and fight for the title?
No, he fought Benson at UFC on Fox 7 in San Jose, I think.
But he did debut for the title. He did debut fighting for the title.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. So there you go. Gilbert's another example. A champion from Strikeforce, of course, and then debuting. But that was after Strikeforce had been folded into UFC, had been purchased by UFC and folded in. So even that's kind of a unique circumstance. Like that's not technically a guy coming from another company. It is from another organization. But Gilbert was a Zuffa, a contracted fighter by that time. But yes, that he did make his UFC debut technically in a title fight. Fell short in a split decision, pretty disputed. I know a lot of people who felt Gilbert actually did enough to win that day. Great fight, by the way. Great fight. Go back and watch Gilbert and Benson. Love that fight. So there's another example, and I remember Mike Bond had another one.
Sorry, I was trying to get more information. What were we talking about?
Oh, I was just saying examples of guys fighting for the titles in the debut. So we've got Kai here, we've got Gilbert Melendez, we've got Joe Soto, and there was one more Mike Bond put in an article.
Hayato Sakuri did.
He did,
at
yeah, that
UFC
with Matt Hughes, right?
Yeah, and Frank Trigg did.
That's really Frank Trigg did as well. He had won the WFA title or something. He had won the WFA title, and then also, and again, this was a different time where the UFC again there wasn't the depth there was today. So literally, at some point, you have to just start signing names from other promotions to fight. So it was a different time. But yeah, that's pretty close. Sakurai is again probably a pretty close example to Kai. I'm not just saying that because they both fought in Japan, but like yes, a guy who was clearly a standout in another promotion, brought in. And for people who don't remember, look up Maha Sakurai. Right, look up this guy's record. Look at some of his highlights. This guy was at one point.
I'm gonna go get some coffee. Okay, I'll be right back.
Go ahead. Yeah. Maha Sakurai, Hayato Maha Sakurai, one of the top 3 welterweights in the world. This is again, this will be lost to time. I'm a rambling old man to some of you, I'm sure, but if you look at his record, you look at the guys he fought, how he fought, this guy was very, very much worthy of fighting for the UFC title. He did, and he lost to Matt Hughes, who was a great fighter. More 503. Just watched Battles weigh in. He's not making the weight, but 4 pounds. Yowza. Yeah. It was rough. It was rough. He's a tall guy. He's a tall guy, but he's not that filled out. So that 15-pound jump up to middleweight, he's not. That's hard for him. Like he's not a middle. He could be an okay middleweight, but he's not like I don't think he's a top 15 middleweight. I think he could be a top 15 welterweight if he can get the weight down, but his body just might not allow it. That gap between welterweight and middleweight is so ridiculous. And that's why I wish there was.
I have terrible news. AK.
175. Here we go. Break it to him.
We're out of coffee.
Wow. Wah, wah. Well, I have great news. It's 1:40. There's only 20 minutes remaining in the official weigh-in window. I'm gonna start running this down, and I bet you we will summon news. We will summon an update. So, let me take a swig of water here first, guys, and I'll be right with you. All right. UFC 310 official weigh-ins, guys. At the top of the card, Alexandre Pantoja, the flyweight champion, going for his third defense of his title. He came in 124.5, half a pound under championship weight, as did his opponent Kai Asakura, 124.5, the rising star, two-time bantamweight champion in that division, in that promotion, excuse me. Wins over Kyoji Horiguchi and Manel Kopp, also losses to them, but wins. He is making his UFC debut and possibly becoming a champion. Making history. Just saying it sounds crazy. But great fight. Main event is official. Shavkat, Rakhmonov, Ian Machado, Garry, both coming in 171. This is a five-round welterweight contender, co-main event. I want to say number one contender, but nothing is guaranteed. But whoever wins this fight is more than worthy of a title shot. And I believe they will be the one who takes on Belal whenever Belal is ready to compete again. Heavyweights, Ciryl Gane, Alexander Volkov facing off for a second time. Neither man having any issues with the weight. Ciryl Gane, 245.5. Alexander Volkov, 254.5. Bryce Mitchell, 146, and Kron Gracie, 144.5. They're official for their fight. This one came out of nowhere. This was announced, I think during 309 or something, and we were all just like, I remember scrambling to think, like, did we report this? Did anyone report this? Did anyone have the scoop on this? And everyone was like, no one had any idea that Kron was fighting again, much less against a top 15, top 20 featherweight and on the main card of the UFC's last period of the year. Weird stuff. The featherweight opener, what a banger. Nate Landwehr, 145.5. Duho Choi at 146. This fight's amazing. Thank God it's on the main card. It's opening the main card. People who purchase the pay-per-view will be very, very happy with what they see, whether it's a 3-round brawl or one guy just colding the other. You will remember this fight. That's just great matchmaking. And there's so many great fights for Nate. I wish he could fight 8 times a year. The feature preliminary bout, Anthony Smith and Dominick Reyes. We do not know if this fight is going down yet, guys. Dominick Reyes came in at 205, no problem. Anthony Smith, 207.5. Missing weight for the first time in his now 20, we don't know if the fight's official. So 23 fight UFC career, 24 bookings. 24 fight UFC career, Anthony Smith had never missed weight officially for a fight that he was scheduled for. 1.5 over the limit, 207.5. So we're still waiting an update on that. I imagine that fight will go through with Anthony forfeiting 20% of his purse if he doesn't weigh in again. Vicente Luque, 170.5, and Themba Gorimbo, 171. Themba stepping in on, I think, a month's notice or something for Nick Diaz. I hope they don't revisit this Vicente Luque, Nick Diaz thing. Second time this fight has been canceled/postponed. I have no interest in it. I know a lot of people are saying, not a lot of people, I'll say Jed said it, and I'm sure many agree, that this was the right matchup for Vicente, and it's the right matchup for Nick Diaz if you're going to throw him in there with a welterweight with any sort of name value.
Any updates?
I guess I agree, but I don't think Vicente's as washed as Nick Diaz. I just don't want to see. I don't want to see Nick Diaz fight again. I hope Nick Diaz is doing okay. Aljamain Sterling and Movsar Evloev, their preliminary bout that could give us the number one contender at 145 pounds. Both were okay. 145.5, 145.5 for Sterling and Evloev. Randy Brown, 171. Randy Brown's opponent, Bryan Battle.
AK,
175.
AK, we have an
I
actual
knew it.
update. We have an actual update. According to sources, Audio Tech Sam. Audio text Sam says Anthony Smith will most likely attempt to weigh in again at 10:55 on
Okay.
local time. So
Yeah.
in 10
No,
minutes. Is that correct, Sam? He's standing
no
right next to me,
surprise.
looking at me like a disappointed father. Yes, that is the plan.
Sam wasn't the UFC guy who fought at the amateur show yesterday, was he?
No, I was absolutely not. You see the UFC employee
Who was that?
fought at the Tough Enough?
Who was that? Everett? Some
I don't
last
remember.
Everett, right?
It was a UFC employee that fought on
Yes,
the
yes,
local.
I
Yeah.
wasn't there, but I know about it.
But AK was like, "Is Sam the guy that fought?" I'm like, "No, absolutely not. No, hell
If they
no."
ever do rock, paper, scissors instead of power slap.
Sam, you gonna slap? Power slap?
No, absolutely not.
Sam is also in charge of all the audio at Power Slap.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, thank you, Sam, for all the hard work you guys.
Our
Guys,
audience
shout
says,
out to
quote,
Sam.
"Thank you, Sam." Shout out to Sam.
There's so much. You guys are so much.
If you're-
than the junkie guys that thrash me.
Oh, that's what do they call you, a warlock?
They call me the warlock.
Yeah, Sam is. If you
Wow.
want to know what Sam looks like, if you watch our media day streams, he's the one that goes up onto the stage to wipe the mics down. Yeah,
Oh,
the
I think we saw him on this. Yeah, we saw him on this stream. Oh, okay.
we've seen him a bunch of
Oh,
times,
yes,
and
we've
we
seen-
the
we've seen
MMA
Sam.
junkie stream. Their audience refers to Sam as the warlock, which is just
listen,
an
I'm
electric
no,
nickname.
I'm no fan of power slap guys, but if you are and you love the sound of that slapping, I guess you can thank Sam.
The
for,
MMA
giving you
junkie
the high
team is
quality.
their mouths are moving, but they're not speaking English. Well, you see, the problem is they can't count past the amount of fingers they have.
And you want to know what's funny? I find out about the junkie crowd through the full send crowd.
Can't reach Kenny. You'll get exhausted making a fist. The MMA junkie and MMA fighting crew, they're talking beef. Well, they're attempting to.
Joseph Boza asks, "What about Bryan battle?" No update on Bryan yet, guys. And don't, unsurprisingly, because again, I'm sure their Bryan Battle's team and Randy Brown's team are right now like going back and forth about purse percentage. The commission's probably wondering like, "Oh, is this fight even going to go through?" He missed by 4 pounds. So don't expect. I would be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if you don't even get a battle update before the end of the stream. So I apologize if there's no battle update. But you might not hear about that until later. Again, we'll shoot out an update on MMA Fighting, our social media. Definitely UFC news. If you guys check that Twitter account, they will have that news as well. But I think you might not hear about it in the window. But I hope I'm wrong. So, guys, last few fights, the card that I didn't get to. We have a catch weight bout, 195 pounds. Chris Weidman, 194.5. Eryk Anders, 193. That was rescheduled from UFC 309. Flyweights, Cody Durden and Joshua Van, 126. Both. Great matchup. Love that one. Michael Chiesa, the birthday boy on Saturday, 170.5. He fights Max Griffin, who came in at 170. Chase Hooper, 155.5. He fights Sunday's birthday boy, Clay Guida, 155. Clay Guida, 43 years young. And then opening the prelims, Kennedy Nzechukwu, Lucas Brzeski. Nzechukwu at 236.5, Brzeski at 234. Neither guy really a heavyweight, if we're being honest. This is just two light heavyweights who didn't cut weight. I'm just gonna say that because Brzeski, I think he's been competing heavyweight in the UFC, but I'm pretty sure.
I want to add something to our audience.
Go.
For those that don't know, there is a UFC 311 little press event before the ceremonials today. So stay tuned for, all the Islam and Umar, Merab. I don't know who's going to be there. We don't have a list of fighters there, but, like a bunch of them might be there. I know Merab's here. He was just here with Aljo. It'll be those 4. So those 4, allegedly. The main and co-main.
Sweet. I won't talk about that in a second. First, I just want to say, though, guys, I apologize that my Brzeski information, I'm sure you guys are all going to jump on me. He has not competed light heavyweight before. I thought he had, but I bet he could. UFC 311. It happened. Guys, we got the fights we wanted. We got Islam and Arman 2. That one wasn't really in doubt. We all knew Islam and Arman 2 was going to happen. That was just, I think, waiting for the UFC to make it official. Umar and Merab, I wasn't confident about it. There was so much like futzing around with the date. Umar himself even released a thing recently where he said like, "Oh, I had some injury to deal with, so I couldn't fight in January," making it sound like they had been offered UFC 311 and then had to decline. But sure enough, here we are with UFC 311 being announced, and there you go. We have got we've got our main and co-main. The card itself looks insanely stacked. I love the main event. I love the rematch between Islam and Arman. I'm so glad both like Arman got his room to breathe and build his own career. I think this is the right time for the rematch. It's just a really organic story that the UFC got here with these two fights, and of course, to UFC's credit, with the co-main event, they clearly wanted Umar and Merab. I mean, they had Umar there after Merab beat O'Malley.
Still no
It
update,
was
AK, by the way, but Heidi,
no
the
worries,
Wayne
no
Queen,
worries.
has taken her throne, so maybe we got some movement coming.
Let's hope. We got 10 minutes to go. But yeah, UFC 311 looks fantastic. Islam Arman 2, Merab Dvalishvili, Umar Nurmagomedov, Jalton Almeida, Sergey Spivak, RIP Sergey, Yuri Prochazka, and Jamal Hill. I think we're all done with Jamal talking. I know a lot of you guys enjoy watching him fight, so thank God. At least he'll be back in the cage doing what he's actually good at in January, because he's a very good fighter. I mean, Jamal Hill's a very, very good fighter, a great fighter. His persona is just so, it's not for me, dog. If you guys love Jamal Hill and his YouTube and his tweets and his whole deal, more power to you. Not for me. But yeah, him and Yuri, that's a great matchup. Definitely a fight Jamal can win. I'll certainly be picking Yuri, but Jamal can knock Yuri out. I mean, this is not a landslide win for Yuri by any means. Kevin Holland, Reiner de Ridder, Rinya Nakamura back in action. He fights Muin Gafrov. Love that matchmaking. Johnny Walker and Bogdan Guskov. It's got to be a KO, right? The hottest division in all sports, bantamweight, women's bantamweight specifically. Carol Hossa and Eileen Perez. I mean, that should be. I don't know why that's not headlining. Zach Reese and Cedric Dumas. The less said about Dumas, the better. Peyton Talbot, the blue chipper at 135, 9-0, incredible finishes, quite the personality. He has an enormous test. I don't like this matchup for him at all. He has an enormous test in Raoni Barcelos. I know Barcelos is someone who's certainly susceptible to getting hit, but the experience gap here and level of competition gap is considerable. That's one to keep an eye on. Peyton Talbot, Raoni Barcelos. Ricky Tercios and Bernardo Sopai. This is rescheduled. I can't remember what happened last time. This was Tercios medical issue after weight cuts. Okay, guys, I had to look that up. So anyway, we're getting our Tercios Sopai fight, and we're all the world is better for it. What else do we got here? Grant Dawson, Diego Fajeda, love it. Great. Like, I think we've called for that on our matchmaking shows so many times, and looks like it's finally happening. Fingers crossed. Benil and Hanato Moicano. Sorry, guys, no Moicano, Paddy Pimblett. You're getting Moicano and Dariush, which is an even better matchup, and it means we might get Paddy Pimblett versus Michael Chandler. Don't jinx it. And now I'm also seeing Tagir Ulanbekov, Clayton Carpenter, very high level flyweight matchup. Huge test for Clayton Carpenter, who I know a lot of people are high on. But yeah, this division is really good. It's not deep, guys, but pretty much every fighter from 1 to 30 something, however many flyweights are on the roster, they're going to give you something good. Jonah Friedman, is there a harder fight to pick than Drakkar Klose and Joel Alvarez? I don't know, man. I haven't dug into that matchup yet, but I have no idea who I'm going to pick. Drakkar Klose might be a top 10 lightweight. We just haven't seen him get the chance to prove it. And Joel Alvarez, I feel like still has upside. So
here we go. Okay.
That's awesome. Anthony Smith.
$205.5, the official weight for Anthony Lionheart Smith. Featured prelim now official. We'll see y'all for the ceremonials later today. One more step.
Well, there you go. 205.5. He cut 2 pounds, and he took his time.
God
he cut
damn.
2 pounds. So good. If only losing weight was that easy. You know what I mean? If only
Seriously.
like we could all have that discipline to just lose. I feel like losing some weight. I'm gonna lose 2 pounds in an hour. I can't lose 2 pounds in like a week. I mean, this man, that is That is something else.
He also does it very unhealthily. Just gets in a sauna and probably gets on a bike.
This is true. It's not great. Guys, I'm not going to throw up an updated graphic. I think you guys are fine.
Nah, we're good.
Anthony Smith made it. As I said, we are not going to find out about Bryan Bow till later. Keep an eye on MMAfighting.com, our socials, our website. We will have an update as soon as we can. But that fight might not even go through. I'm sure they're negotiating purse penalty, but also they might just say, "Hey, you missed weight by way too much. Like, we just can't do this." And I wouldn't blame Randy Brown one bit. And I hope Randy Brown gets this damn show money at least, because bad situation there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, every fight, as far as we know now, is official, with the exception of Randy Brown and Bryan Battle. That we will have, as Jose just mentioned, there will be Jose. You will not be streaming the media thing live, right?
No, because the Wi-Fi in the arena is too bad, and our fans deserve a clean, crisp feed.
Yes, sure. But look out for video from us there, and probably some write-ups, some comments from Islam Makhachev, Arman Sarukyan, Merab.
Allegedly. I'm not. Allegedly. I don't know if those are the exact names, but that's the alleged names.
We will see, guys. We will see. So hopefully we can get some comments from the UFC 311 stars later today. At the very least, we will have a preview show, I believe, with Mike Heck and Jed Mashu and EKC Leiden.
For just because people,
and then we will
because Chris Costello said that he will give us an update on the Bryan Bow Randy Brown situation probably later this afternoon when he gets the information.
Sure. Sounds good to me.
Also, the UFC 311 press conference on UFCs.com has Islam, Arman, Merab, and Umar in the thumbnail, and it says, "Tune in to hear from these 4 men." So I'm assuming it's those 4 men.
There you go, guys. You would never accuse anyone of false advertising, so there you go. Look out for that, guys. Look out for the preview show at, I should know this information on the top of my head. I am so sorry. It might be coming up now, actually, now that I think about it. Oh, dear. 3 p.m., excuse me. So, you got an hour. You guys got 3 p.m. ET. You guys got an hour to scramble, get something to eat, hug your loved ones. You guys are probably eating already, actually, when you're watching this. I haven't been. I'm going to get something to eat. Jed and Mike and Casey will be on the calls. So you get the expert analysis, get the picks, and ceremonials tonight at 7, guys. So thank you again. You guys are the best. This has been the UFC 310 official weigh-in live stream, brought to you by MMA Fighting, brought to you by Jose Youngs, brought to you by me, Alexandre Kalia, providing the commentary anyway. So take care, everyone. Stay healthy, stay safe, and enjoy Saturday's show. It's going to be a good one.